Yeah, hi guys. Good evening and welcome once again to this awesome technical writing program. And I would say I'm overwhelmed with numbers. Probably go back to what I said in the first call. We are 800 and that's 834 mentees. That is a huge number. So for me, I'm very happy that you guys want to join us on this journey. And let me just say a little story before I probably go in details in why we're here today. Um, I I was just on my own and I got a message which is from one of the mentors. So I got a message from him and he said he would like me to probably start up mentorship program for him alone to teach him. And I felt that was okay. I said, and I've probably gotten requests from so many other persons, and I was wondering, so how am I going to do this? Am I probably going to teach you and find some time and teach the next person and find another time and go over to the next person? I I probably had a deep think and I said, okay, let me probably have like a program which I'll have everybody together and teach them. So I started the cohort one. The cohort one was very, very successful. And going on, I learned, I was learning myself because I was really cool, trying to teach people. Like the first speaker says, your teaching is as if you're learning twice or thereabout. So when you teach, you also learn as you're teaching. So while I was also doing the assignments, reviewing the assignments, I would also learn along the line. And my happiness was at the end. But we were about 200 and we have like seven or more than seven that are working. They are not working and they got a job after the program. So, and now the program is more stable, more structured, and we are working on a lot trying to improve the program and making it easy. So at the end of the program, we have your details so we can refer you to jobs and refer you to, organizations to make it easier for you to look for jobs and try to make everything successful for you guys. So so much happy that we have these numbers, and I'm so much happy that my mentors have agreed to put their time to teach everybody. So, but what I can assure everyone here, even if you're not here, you're watching the video, what I can assure you is that this program, you will definitely learn a lot from this program. So, can you hear me? Just drop it in the chat.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay. Okay. So, let me try to open. Um, so I know most of you have gone through the curriculum, but I would probably try to open it here so we can also see that. Can I see my screen? Can I see my screen? Drop it in the chat so I'll continue. Okay, thank you for that. All right, so now this is the curriculum for this program, and I crafted this myself because I felt that I need to have all this here. So if you probably go to other tutorials, you won't see it, you won't have these features we have here. So the first is introduction to the program and probably the ground rules, and we have the first speaker tell us about community. So we need to know the importance of community. So coming down, we have introduction to technical writing, which is the core. The next one is open source because this is an open source program. And going forward too, you probably indulge in open source programs too, like the Google Season of Docs and every other open source companies and organization that you get involved in. Then you have the style guide, you have the information architecture. So what I will do today, I'll probably touch base on them while you have a special class with special tutors that will come and teach you on that one, while your mentors will take you up after the class. So we have the Git and GitHub. Some of you might know this, some might not. So we want to make sure everybody's carried along. Command line is very essential. So we have Markdown. You also need to learn Markdown. So you have the technical guide, teach you how to write a technical guide. It's very, very important. User guide, installation guide, and white papers. and it's very, very essential as a technical writer. Then content marketing. Before, technical writers don't indulge more, but right now it's as if a technical writer must be a content writer, because you don't just write technical articles nowadays just for a particular user. Some companies or startups try to make you to add the SEO features in it, so it will be visible on every other search engine. So I think it's necessary for us to have it. I know it's necessary, sorry. SEO, very important. QA, quality assurance. So many of you be wondering why. So it's important to have this skill, because as a technical writer, before you write anything, you will definitely test it. So QA is very important. So the next we have is introduction to programming, which is intro to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So it's important for you to learn this. Now, you might not even need this, but this will probably bring you to the world of programming. So that's why I probably added this here. So REST API, API docs, very important. Designing of docs, very, very important. Then you have your portfolio, teach you how to prepare your portfolio and learn about charts and graphics. Then you have your capstone project. So for this month, you have your assignments. So you have one assignment this month. Next month, you have at least one or two assignments. So each month, we're having assignments for you. Everybody will be very busy with that, because this is a practical program and not much about theory. All right, so thank you for that. Let me go on to the talk of today. Sorry. Okay, so this is intro to technical writing. Now, what is technical writing? So technical writing is a type of writing that provides clear and concise instruction or explanation about a technical topic. So I want you to understand this line is a type of writing that provides clear and concise. Make it very clear so people understand what you're writing about. And technical writing involves more about instruction. You know what is instruction? Someone is trying to tell you what to do, an action. Okay, I want you to go and get me water in the kitchen. That is an action. I've instructed you to do that. And are you going to do that as an action? Now, imagine you want to put that into writing. That is now technical writing. So, or explanation about a technical topic. So, technical writing is basically a technical topic. There is a reason why you have the technical behind the writing. You have copywriting, you have a content writing, you have creative writing, another writing. But in this, we have technical writing, because it involves instruction, it involves action, how to. That is technical writing for you. Now, so about technical topic, it involves in computer programs and medical procedures. Now, many people think technical writing is just a software related thing. It's not. So technical writing can be found in any field, not just softwares. Even in your phone devices, when you buy a phone, you get to see a manual that will tell you how to use the phone. Now that is a technical document. If you go to buy a drug from the pharmacy or from the chemist, they always give you see some instruction. Probably if it's a carton, you see it, or some they have one technical document in that medicine carton or thereabouts that will tell you how to take it. 0 to 2 years, take this dosage. 5 to 6 years, adults. Now that is an instruction, which tells you that is a technical document or a technical content. So now it's not just a software related thing. For those that work, for the engineers in the car, automobile, and for those in the airspace, okay, now you want to be a pilot and you're seeing a very big dashboard with different buttons. There will be a technical document that will tell you how to use them and what they are. Even in your cars, when you go to driving school, they will tell you, okay, read this to know that this is brake and this is how you put it. This light means this means this. If you match this, it's revised and all that. It's an instruction. You put it into writing, that is technical document. So now technical writing It's not a software related thing. You can be a medical doctor and you're working as a technical writer in that your field. So there are, just like we have in the police field, we have some policemen that are tailors alone. They don't handle guns, but they are just wearing that uniform that I'm working as a police officer, but in the tailoring department. We have those in the IT department, and we have those that actually go on the field to probably do the arresting and all the rest. So now it's not just a software engineering related thing. So have it at the back of your mind. You can be whatever you are, and you probably be writing technical documents on that particular field. So I hope that's clear. So now, why is technical writing important? It's important because we need to have a document that will explain those instructions to us. And if you go back, they said provides clear and concise. Technical writing is not creative writing, it's not your normal kind of content writing. They are trying to write a lot of stories. Technical writing is straightforward. If you're telling me to click a button, tell me to click a button. You don't have to write a story before you tell me to click a button. That is a waste of my time. So technical writing is very, very important. It's important because we need to have a document that will make those complex ideas, those complex topics very easy to understand. Simple, clear, and concise. That is technical writing for you. So now, probably you want to know the common examples of technical writing. So you have one, like I mentioned, the user manual, the software guides, tutorials, API documentation, you have white papers, and you have business plan. So all these are common examples of a technical document. Now there are other examples, but because of time, I probably just put this one here. So on your own time, you can just go and search for more examples. So now, what are the characteristics of technical writing? So just like I mentioned before, clarity and conciseness. So it should don't try to make everything complex, because the work of a technical writer is to make those complex topics, complex ideas simple. So for instance, now you have a laptop and you want to write a document that would explain how to on a laptop. Imagine you're writing lots of stories just to on a laptop. That is boring. That is ambiguity. That is making it complex. You make it as simple as possible. If you open your screen, you will see a button with this color, close to this color, close to this color, or close to this button. Then just press it or click it, and or hold it for a few seconds, and your laptop will on. As simple as ABCD. And not don't make it too long. Conciseness. Make it very easy, very small, so people understand. So the next is objectivity. So technical writing should be objective, free of, don't try to make it, don't personalize technical writing. You know, just focus on why you're there and write it out. Make sure the relevant information are there rather than trying to make everything more personal. Now, accuracy. You know, technical writing is just as important as the medical field. When you go to a medical doctor, you can't tell a medical doctor, "Hey, doctor, I'm sick. And I think I have malaria. Just give me malaria medicine." The He would never listen to you, or he or she. Okay, let me say the doctor won't even listen to you. Why? Because in their field, they work with accuracy. Why? Because that is human life. They don't assume. They don't like assumption in the medical field. So same with technical writing. So what the doctor will do, doctor will tell you, okay, go to the lab, run a test, then bring the results. So when you run the test and bring the results, he is now sure, okay, yes, this is actually malaria or typhoid or this or that. You don't just go, and again, in the medical world, or more like the human body, there are several diseases that have same symptoms. So you might have malaria, probably maybe that is typhoid or something else, and they give you the malaria medicine you drink, and you're still sick. Because why? There is no accuracy there, it's just an assumption. Let's assume you have malaria, give her this. Or some will say, give her malaria, typhoid, and just pack everything and go and drink. That's overdose. Probably that would harm you. So in the technical writing world, you're writing something for people to read. Now, people are consuming those contents. So when you give out wrong information, you're killing a generation. You're damaging the world. I'll probably put that word damaging the world. So make sure you're always accurate. You're sure. If you're not sure, don't. Technical writing, we don't have I think. We never use I think. Even in your statement. If you want to make a sentence, don't use I think. I know that this is it. You're sure before you put it down. Okay, so the next is the technical jargon. So the different companies, they have the particular way they name their naming conventions. So try not to have so much of that, or I also try to make people understand the technical jargons. Very, very important. So we have the organization. So technical writing should be well organized. So we'll talk a little bit about that when we get to information architecture. So it's very, very important to organize the article very well so that people can understand and have a flow. In technical writing, we'll have what we call the user journey. In a way, you read an article or when you go to the documentation, you see the way it's well arranged. You know where to find whatever you want to find. It's very easy for you to find. So that is how technical writing is. So if you don't do this, then probably that is out of technical writing. Now, attention to details. Just like accuracy, you make sure you pick any point. So let's say you want to write about, let me use your phone that you use so everybody can understand. You want to write about your phone, maybe how to use WhatsApp. And maybe there is a step you within you think it's too stressful for you to write. How will I spend all these hours just to write this step? Man, I'm tired. I don't think I need this. You need it. That step, in short, I'll probably say that spirit that is telling you don't add that step, add it. Technical writing, attention to details is very important. So whatever thing you think that would make somebody understand your content, understand your doc site, add it. Don't skip it. Don't let that laziness come in you like, I'm tired. This, how can I spend 2 hours just to write just this? I will just explain it small and they can understand it themselves. They can't. You are the only person that would understand what you wrote, so they won't. So it's very important for you to, make sure you put every important details there. So user-centered approach. So this also is a very important aspect of technical writing. We'll talk more about that in the audience analysis. When you're writing a technical article, you always have your audience at the back of your mind. Before you even start writing, you would know your audience. Are you writing for a 6-year-old? Are you writing for an adult? Are you writing for grannies? Or are you writing for people that don't speak your language? You need to know your audience? Or are you writing for, I would say 6 months old? So imagine you're writing for a 6-year-old. They're the kids. And okay, let me just pause here so we can talk about that in that side. All right, so the next we have on our list is the visual aids. So you need to learn a little bit of graphics. It's not like you need to be a pro, but you need that skill. It's very important. At least along the line, one of the assignments, definitely you have that to learn how to, create very minor things and keep some arrows to help people understand what you're explaining. So now let's talk about the responsibilities of a technical writer. Talked about the characteristics and a lot. Now let us talk about what you're expected to do as a technical writer. But this differs in companies. Some companies will overload you with what you're not even supposed to do. Some will probably give you little, and some will probably be neutral. But I just picked this as a major. So you develop or you edit the required documentation. For instance, you might be given the task to write about troubleshooting guide, user guide, installation guide, or white paper tutorials, release notes, API documentation, or you work with internal teams to update their product requirements. You produce high quality documentation that meets application standard. You write easy to understand user interface text. Now, this part, we have the people who call the UX writers. So now, as the world is evolving, technology is growing, the responsibilities are being, I would say, being shifted a bit. So there are certain things they do, there are certain things they don't do. So in some companies, you have the you have the product designer.
Live streaming has stopped.
So you have the product designer doing this. In some other companies, you have just the technical writer doing this. So I try to explain this so you know that it differs a bit. So you create tutorials to help your users. You analyze existing documents. They will give you a document for you to analyze, and you publish and maintain the written documentation. Now, these are just the major responsibilities of a technical writer. But like I said earlier, it differs in companies. So now this is a very important topic. So most of you probably want to ask what or who is a subject matter expert. So these are people that are knowledgeable in their field. For example, you know how to use a phone very well, an iPhone, more than an Android phone. So I will call you an SME of an iPhone. You know how to use an Android phone more than an iPhone. I'll call you an SME on an Android phone. So if I want to understand how to use an Android phone, or I want to write about a topic about about Android phones, you are the person I will meet because you are the subject matter expert of that field. So now, as a technical writer, I won't say you need to be an expert in that field, but it's recommended, you be an expert in that field so that you get to write what you understand. So you don't just write because somebody explained to you. You're writing because you've tested it yourself and you've seen how it works. So like the first slide talked about what is technical writing, and if you go back again, you see where I talked about the technical part of it. So this is where it comes in play. So you need to be very, very technical in technical writing. So to be a subject matter expert, you need to be very technical. So let's say, for instance, you are working in a software development company and they require you to write about a web page. So you need to understand HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and the web development basics so you can understand that task and you can write it very well. So that's the reason why we have some layoffs in some companies or some people being, sacked, probably layoff. Why? Because they feel you don't have that technical depth. They will always say, yeah, you're very good. You try to explain things. We see how you're putting energy to explain these things, but you don't have that technical depth. So this is where it comes in play. And some companies might not even give you much time because they feel you need to understand it before you even join. So it's important for you to be an SME as a technical writer. So talk about the SME, talk about the responsibilities. Now let's talk about the writing style guide. So most people fail this because they don't have a style guide. So what is a style guide? So a style guide is a rule that guides you to write your documents in a way it will be consistent in the tone and in the style. Let me give you an example. I know we have different people from all over the world in this call. So when you see a Nigerian dress, when looking at the dressing, you would know that this is a Nigerian because of their dressing style. And that is their style. If you see a Ghanaian, or if you see someone from US, the way they dress, majorly means that they're cowboy. This person might be from US, New York precisely, or you see someone from Cameroon dress, you would okay, or somebody from Senegal. So now that is the style. Now doing that would let them know. Now bringing it down to Nigeria, we have different cultures. The Igbo, probably the Wazobia. So when you say Yoruba man dress, you know, okay, yes, this is a Yoruba man because this is their style and they are consistent with that. You see an Igbo man, same thing. You see an Hausa man, same thing. So in writing, we have style guide. Now this will guide you so you have a consistent tune. For instance, you're writing and you always observe your dating style. That's the way you put your date and time, you always put backslash. And that backslash you're putting will be across all your documents. You won't put backslash here, go over to the next document and you put dash, go over to the other document and you're putting maybe hyphen or something. That is not consistency. So when you work with a style guide, you will observe and have that consistency. So information architecture. Now, this is a very, very, very important topic. And I will urge you all to have this at the back of your mind that if you fail to understand this topic, it will be difficult for you to succeed as a technical writer. Now, why did I say this? One, now, this particular topic is the organization or structure of documentations. Now, I know most of you probably are in school in any level, or even if you're not in school, but you've read a book, a physical book. Let me see if okay, my camera might not permit that. So when you're reading a book, a novel or whatever, you would see at the front page probably have a table of content that would show you if you go to page 14, this is this. If you go to page 17, you are seeing this topic. Why did they do that? Because they want you to easily locate whatever you're doing. So what if you're reading and you get to page, let's say the book entirely has 100 pages and you stopped at 79, page 79, and maybe you fell asleep and you woke up, but you know it's page 79, but okay, now, sorry, let me don't use the numbers. Now you stopped at a page, the book does not have number. You'll be wondering, where did I stop? Now that is difficulty number one. You're now searching for where you stopped. And you might even get annoyed that I'm not reading anymore. I'm tired. That is how people will feel when they go back to their dogs and it's difficult for them to find what they're looking for. So, but imagine you have a number and okay, I stopped at page 79. Let me sleep. You go and sleep. So when you wake up, you know it's page 79. Not even by checking the table of content as you're swiping, you know 79. You just move it. You know how you move your book very fast. Okay, 79. Yeah, I stopped at this line. It's easy for you to find. So information architecture is very, very important. So if you learn it very well, you structure your content, your article, your docs, your documentation site very well and make it easy for you to find content. That is just what it is. Now, going a little bit, we have the labeling system, how you label your system, how you put your H1 tag and H2 tag, making it bold. Your topic, your main title will be very bold. If you're having any other subtopics, you're probably having them more smaller, not making them look like before, look like the title. Why? Because you want that organization and making it easy for people to find your content. Like I said in the book, navigation, how they look and move around that, you also make that very, very possible. The search in the book is that table of content. You're looking for, I want to read about Intro to Technical Writing, page 79, that talked about Dockers Code. Page 79, you open page 79, easy for you to find. Your doc site, you have your nav bar, you made everything easy for people to find. When you're writing your maybe single article, you also make sure you structure it very well so that when somebody is reading that, it will be easy for them to find whatever they're looking for. That will make, and for me, I'll be very, very happy. I want to come back and read that again. Okay, so let's move forward. Now, steps in technical writing process. So you have the first step, the planning. You want to write about a topic, you plan, you search. Okay, you talked about the topic, make everything possible. You move to the next one, structure. Okay, how do I want this to look? Where can we fix this? How can we arrange this? When you've planned the topic, you know how you want to write it, you know the platform you want to use in the structuring section, then you start writing. Then when you're done writing, you get to the review stage. That is where you have your editors. They will go through what you've written. If that is fine, then they publish it. But if it is not fine, they will bring it back to write, or might bring it back to structure. Maybe I think the structure, you need to make some changes. Let's have a call on fixing that. So this is the technical writing life cycle, or I call it technical writing process. So the audience analysis, like I explained before, you need to know your audience. Before you start writing, you need to know your audience. So am I writing for a 6-year-old? Am I writing for an adult? Now imagine you're writing for a 6-year-old. You know you need more of colors. You need more of illustrations. You need more of cartoons. If I say explain explain a phone to me like a 6-year-old, I won't be expecting a lot of no, because they don't enjoy reading those things. But if I see more of illustrations with different colors, like make it very colorful, and you see the kids smiling, okay, this looks very nice. You now have their attention. Then maybe you start with each illustration you have a text underneath it to make it easy. Okay, this means this means this. You will capture their attention. That is for your audience of 6-year-old. You can't do that for an adult. Me, I will get annoyed if I just see, oh, what is this? First thing I will say is, do I look like a kid? Because that's, for me, I'm not the audience for this. So now, when you are going to an adult, you know, okay, I need to explain this and make it this and make it that. If you are writing an article for a technical audience and a non-technical audience, you need to know how to structure your documents to suit them. So this program will help you understand how to do that. So document design and formatting. So we've spoken about that, how you design your document. There are platforms you use to design your document. Going down, we'll talk more about that one, and how you format your documents, how you put your spaces, your paragraphs to make it easy for people to understand. This is also part of the information architecture. So now, this is ethics in writing. And like most technical writing courses might not have all this in it. So ethics is very important. So even in all your assignments, you observe that. So what is ethics? Ethics is just the rule in writing. You need to observe and you need to, in short, you need to observe and obey the rules. In all our homes, families, we have rules. Like when I was little, my dad would always say, once it's 6 p.m., young man, go inside the house. I don't want to see you playing. That is the rule. And any day I decide like that I need to play, I just need to play. You can't stop me. I don't need to explain to you the the aftermath of that. So there are homes that they will tell you once it's 2 p.m., go and sleep so that you can wake up so time and do this. There are homes once it's 6 a.m., wake up and start preparing, start cooking so your mom can take the food. They have rules. And those rules were put in place so there will be orderliness and organization in that family. So now in technical writing, we need to have that. Now, one of the rules is don't manipulate data or statistics. You're writing about a topic that requires you to add or show data or statistics. If, like I said earlier, technical writing is not I think. Technical writing is not they told me. Technical writing is not I heard from. Technical writing is I know, I am sure, and I put it here. So when you know that the data or the statistics you're putting you're not sure of that, please and please don't manipulate it. In short, I would advise if you remove that part. So when you're sure, there is always room for improvement. So when you're sure, you come back and you improve that. So it's very, very important. Second, be correct, honest in your writing. Be honest, don't lie. This is not the manipulating the data. This is now about the content. You're just lying because you want to lie, or you don't have, this aspect results when company give you a limit. They'll tell you, I want to write an article that will be 1,500 words or 3,000 words. You see people making the article very wordy. A wordy, I means a word a particular thing that a word will explain, you use like 10 words to explain that thing. So you can meet up that your 3,000 or 1,000 words. So you might even want to lie just to fill it up. Remember that somebody else would read that. And if you're writing an incorrect, adding an incorrect content and incorrect information, somebody else would digest that and you're damaging the word. Please, I will plead, don't manipulate data, be honest in your writing. Now, don't use any idea from others without mentioning or crediting them. This is purely called plagiarism. So, but I don't want to put the plagiarism here. I want to make it very simple for you to understand. So people don't ask, what is plagiarism? This is plagiarism. Don't copy people's idea. And even if you want, mention that you got it from this person. Give them the credit. They spent their time writing that. So you don't take up somebody's idea like that, which is not good. Just how am I going to put in the natural world that we hear now? You maybe in your exam hall, you have somebody close to you and you're copying everything, even including the person's name. Copy and you submit. When they are marking, they will probably who is okay. For let me say, for instance, you copied me, this is Omokocha, and they are seeing two scripts, the same thing. Did this guy submit twice? But these are two different handwritings and everything is the same. They will call with Omokocha, come. Where is your document? Where is your this answer script? Say yes. They will take it. And they would throw the other one because they feel maybe but did you write twice? I didn't write twice. Who sat close to you? Let me not call name. I won't call might call somebody's name here. So you just call the person and like, is this your this is yes. How did it happen? You copied his name. So I didn't forget. Let me correct and write my name. You can imagine. So now you copied everything from somebody. And imagine how I will feel being the wisdom you copied from. I won't, I won't, in short, looking at you, I'll be very annoyed. So imagine you do that in high institution, majorly in our country here in Nigeria, where, lecturers don't even take shit. You might not even know what is happening behind the scene. You might even throw up your own paper because they are seeing it twice. Now, somebody will make you lose mark because they copied from you. So, but bringing it down to technical writing, if you go online and you see the content you like, maybe a sentence you like, written by somebody. Anyways, along the line in this program, you will learn how to cite, they call it citation, how to cite um, documents, websites, and links. So when you go and you see, I like this, you cite it and you give them the credit. So when even images, you don't just go and steal images. You're not the one that created it. So when you get an image that is not your own, make sure you in the caption, make sure you credit the owner or credit where you got it from. So it's very important. So I don't want to stress more on this, but it's very important. As a technical writer, in short, as a writer, or let me say as a human being, leave writing, leave technical writing, don't just steal ideas. Okay, if you could remember the story of is it Burna Boy and forgotten one American artist, just a very little background sound that might not be too noticeable. He had to pay for it because that is not his own. Even was it the Nigerian musician too? I've forgotten the other person was telling him to pay 300 million for stealing her. Maybe one sentence in the music or thereabout. You know why? Because those are the penalties you get to pay when you don't credit the owner. It's very important. So now the next is done. Now you have asked for my permission for my document, and I'm seeing everything. No, you can ask for permission and just take a few parts. Not you ask for permission and I'm seeing everything. So these are the ethics. So make sure you follow them. These are the rules that will guide you and make you look very honest and make you successful. So you'll be a very, very successful writer if you follow all these rules. So now we have the technical writing tools. We have so many tools, but I'll probably mention a few. You have the Google Docs, you use in writing, add your content, make changes. You have Anotly, this is used, this is more like an image editor that would help you put lines, put arrows, circle areas that make it easy. VS Code is for Markdown when you want to write in Markdown and push to GitHub. Grammarly is your grammar checker to help you check. Quillbot also has that, but it has a very nice feature, the paraphrasing and the co-writer. Paraphrasing will probably change the article. So, but I wouldn't advise you to go and copy an entire document and paraphrase it. It's also illegal. You might probably copy a sentence, you try to understand that maybe you can't find a way to understand. You can paraphrase it and it will look more clearer to you. Then you can make more changes to that and you have a brand new unique content. Like I said again, I wouldn't advise you to start paraphrasing all the documents. It's illegal. So you have your ChatGPT. I don't know if I should explain this. So this is an AI tool that would help you, give you good ideas and help you write sometimes. So, but people misuse it nowadays. You use it to write a full article. You don't make changes, you just boom. And now, going back to the style we talked about, the style guide. If I see an article written by ChatGPT, I would know because I know the style and the tone. So you can imagine this has a style and a way of writing, which because I probably have been into writing for some time and I've used this tool also for some time, I will know that this was gotten from ChatGPT. You can imagine. So why won't you as a human being have your own unique, consistent style? So you have the Gitbook. We also use this to attribute your documentation and create a documentation site for your users. You have GitHub that would also help you to store not just your code. Now it's no longer a code storage. It's more like I'll probably call it a code and document storage because you can store your docs content on GitHub. So it's also important, like I mentioned earlier, to learn the basics of software development. So now this program is mainly on software. So we're not explaining how to use aeroplane to be a technical writer or automobile or phones. We are strictly on software development. So, and because of that, you need to learn the basics. So don't be scared about programming. Hey, you've heard about programming. If you learn it, you will die in 2 weeks. It's very difficult to understand. It's not difficult to understand. And we are not making you start to learn everything. You're just learning the basics because so imagine you're a technical writer in a software development company and you don't know software development. In short, you won't be there, first of all. So it's important you understand software development. Now, mind you, technical writers don't code. Some companies might want you to code, but the job description of a technical writer is not to code. It's for you to understand how the code works so you can write, not to code. So if you don't understand software development, you don't know the basics, you can't write it. So, but some companies prefer engineers to be technical writers because at least they feel you have that technical skill. You cannot go in compared to um, somebody coming from a different field that doesn't know the software development, but you know how to write technical documents. Now you need to understand that. So that's why most prefer that. So that's the reason why we had to include this HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So you have that skill. So when you're looking for a job, to be easier for you to get. So now we've talked about this a bit. So to clear the air from asking questions about technical writing, content writing, copywriting. So I had to bring this up. So the technical writing, like I said earlier, is more about instructions, how to. When you see how to, you know that it's giving you an instruction to do something. Then content writing is more audience oriented. You're just writing it for a set of people, but it is not technical. And you're looking more about the search engine. How will this get to plenty people? More, I'll call it the other side of technical writing, not technical. You're not trying to give an instruction. Maybe, for instance, you're writing about let's say intro to ChatGPT. You explain what it is, you explain the history, you explain types of AI, why they created, that is content writing. Now you have the copywriting, the one you write copies for your marketing. You're trying to write a very short but persuading content or documents that want to make people to buy. You get to see a document a content you will read that will make you want to join this program. You read a content that will make you want to buy a product that is copyrighted. So now, but they're all writing. Now they all have this rule, the ethics. So anywhere you find yourself in any of this writing, observe that ethics. Now, the common challenges technical writers face. So one, lack of information about the product. So there are companies you will join, you won't get to understand much about the product, and they will give you deadline. Like when you don't understand it, so how can you write it? Imagine you join a company and they're giving you like a week to understand few things the next week. Or some companies you join this week. Let's say you join the company today, tomorrow they're giving you a tax. How is that possible? So these are the common challenges technical writers face. Now, gathering information from these SMEs. SMEs, trust me, if you work as a freelance or a full-time technical writer, it's difficult working with SMEs. These subject matter experts, they are very busy because of the nature of their jobs. Now, so let me say, like I said earlier, these are experts in their field. For example, you know how to use Android phone very well. You know how to install apps, install games, and this. You're very good in that field. And I want to write about how to install one game named ChatGPT. Let me call it a game. I send you a message and you tell me, okay, I'll be available in 2 days. The next 2 days, I send a message. I'm still waiting. Okay, just give me one more day, and you get back to me in a week and 3 days. Imagine I send a message today. The next day, you go back to me, explain what you need to explain, and I go on to do the rest. That will save me lots of time. So going forward, we'll also teach you how to get information from SMEs and how to make it easy not to bug them. So when you go to interviews, they always tell you that we would like you to not bug them because they are very busy. So that's why they want people that are very technical. So I will teach you going forward how to get information and how to keep a relationship with SMEs. So now getting people to review your work, that is also a common challenge. To take a week or two before somebody review your work. Imagine they view that within 2 days, give you feedback. Because okay, imagine it took them 1 week to review your work, and after you're through with that, under 1 week again, you see yourself, submitting one article per month, which if they review within the next day, you might even submit 3 to 4 articles in a month. So these are the common challenges technical writers face. So thank you so much for this session. So if you have any question, let me know. So the floor is open. Hello.
Hello, sir. We can hear you.
All right. So do we have any question?
I understood. I understood other parts, but I didn't get the parts you talked about the tools required while you're engaging in technical writing.
Okay. So the tools, there are so many tools, but I mentioned a few. Google Docs, Grammarly. So Grammarly is used for spell checking, to check your grammar, to check that the words you are you want to publish are correct. Check your punctuation marks and all that. Then you have the Anotly. Anotly is used for your image editing. So trying to add symbols and circles to a particular image. Let's say, for instance, you want to write a user manual where you have a login screen. To explain that this is login button, you will use Anotly to circle that login button, and that would make the user know that okay, this is the login button you mean. So that is the work of Anotly. And you have Google Docs, you have GitHub that helps to um, your codes and also your documents. And we have a lot of tools like VS Code Quillbot helps you in paraphrasing and also does grammar checking and has the co-writing. ChatGPT would help you write, and you have some other ones like Simplified that would also help you with copies and introduction. Now, let's say you want to start an introduction, you don't know how to start. So a tool like Simplified will make it easy for you to start. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir, you did. Thank you.
All right, so any other question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you.
And my
Live
question
streaming
is
is
not
on.
it's not about your system, but it's about getting the slide for today's lecture. I don't know if there is a provision for that to read further.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear you. Say testing.
I said my question is there any provision made for is there any provision for slide of today's lecture? Maybe we can get it and read
Oh, yeah,
after
sure.
the class.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wisdom. I actually don't have a question, and I want to take this time to appreciate you for the knowledge you have shared. And sincerely, yeah, I think I have learned one or two this night, and so I'm calling to appreciate. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Wisdom.
Yeah, good evening.
Really privileged to be here. Yeah, and the question I have is this technical writing program, is it directed towards beginners or intermediates? Because there are some of us that have actually started out. So I'm trying to get the scope. What's the program going to cover?
Okay. Well, the program is mainly for beginners. So if you go through the curriculum, you see we started from the scratch. So we is mainly for beginners. So that's why we have that structure. Then going forward, it will now accommodate intermediate and expert. So which means before we get to May, everyone that is a beginner by February should be an intermediate. So that is how we structured it.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much.
All right, welcome. All right, so who else?
Good evening, Mr.
Yeah, good evening.
I have a question. The answer places.
Okay.
Major things you have to talk while analyzing your.
I
Yes, sir.
7:45 and ended 15 minutes plus
Sorry, can you mute? Can you mute?
14 minutes. That's like it's 5 minutes. So like must mute.
Hello, can you mute? All right, go ahead.
Okay, so yes, I said talking about audience analysis.
Okay.
How do you analyze the audience? What are the factors you have to look out for?
Okay, now, first of all, before you write any document, you probably get an information from, let's say, your manager, or if you're a freelancer, you will get that from whoever is giving you that. So what you would do is that is the question you would ask, because you don't do that on your own. For instance, I want you to write an article for me. So you would now ask me, which audience should I focus this article on? Then I will tell you, I want this article to be channeled to the beginners. I want this article to be channeled to 6-year-old. I want this article to be channeled to secondary school students, or I want this article to be more focused on the lecturers in university, or I want this article to be focused on people from South Africa because of their culture. So now, because you asked me that question, you now know your audience. So that would now be a base for you to know how to go on with that. So it's not something difficult to do, because the reason most people fail in technical writing is they don't ask questions. So if you ask me, sorry, okay, you've given me this document now. So what audience? That question will give you everything you need. So I please hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right.
I have a question.
All right, go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, can I talk?
Okay.
Yes, I want to ask something. Hello?
Hello. Yeah. Okay. See what will happen if
Yes,
you
I want to
wait.
ask something.
Yeah. If you want to ask a question, can you just raise your hand so I would pick? So you don't have that. Just raise your hand and I would pick. Okay. So Olajumoke.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, my question is that would you, if you ask a subject matter expert for help while writing your technical documents, do you need to credit them at the end of the work, or you just leave it like that?
Yeah. You don't need to.
What's the ex?
Okay, I don't think you don't need to credit them in that work. But if you're working with a company, you can credit them maybe in a way the company using. Some companies have a way of highlighting or something made, so you can use that way. But in that document, you don't have to, credit them for that because first of all, that is their duty to teach you how to do that. Then second, it's your own duty to learn from them and write. So the credit should go to both of you. So by the end, you don't need to credit in that document, but you can probably do that in your general call to, hey, help me thank this guy or thank this lady. She helped me finish this or thereabouts.
All right, thank you.
All right, welcome. Who else? Who else? Okay, Okoye, the
Hello?
Eluchuku, yeah?
Okay. Thank you, Wisdom. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I have two questions. The first one is on QA, that's quality assurance.
All right.
I want to know if this course can cover will cover QA to a level that somebody can branch off and get a career in QA, or is it just the basic QA?
Okay.
That's one.
Okay.
Then the second one is you mentioned the chat GPT and it's been a debate all over the place. Do you think that it will one day evolve to take over the technical writing role?
Okay.
One of the questions. Thank you.
All right, welcome. So I will start with the second question. Chat GPT at some point would have to relegate some technical writers that don't know how to use it. So that is what it will do. It will not entirely relegate all technical writers, but it will relegate the technical writers that don't know how to use it. The reason I said it is I had a contract with a company, and during the interview, what they asked me is, "Do you know how to use AI tools?" And I said yes. They said AI, they mean ChatGPT. I was like, this thing just came out now. I was surprised like that is now a requirement. I said yes. It's okay, demonstrate. I had to share my screen and I demonstrated it. So imagine like you don't even know where it is, you don't know the URL, maybe you opened it and you're like, you don't know now. What they wanted me to do is how to use the ChatGPT because it's not just like a normal search engine that you just search anyhow. You have to, there is a way you write it, it will give you what you want. For instance, you want to write a copy about, anybody can test it after this call. You want to write a copy about how to sell cigarettes. So when you go to ChatGPT, what you do is just say, write, this is how you write it. Write a copy on this topic, how to sell a cigarette. It will give you what you want. So if you go how to sell a cigarette, it will probably maybe explain how and not give you. But when you put write a copy, it will not give you a copywriting standard of how to sell a cigarette. So if you use that style, maybe if you want to talk about the content writing, or maybe you want it to write a full article for you, you don't just say write this. It will probably give you something minor. You can say write, and I don't want to go that deep on this call. So, but you need to know how to do that. So that was what I demonstrated, and like, oh, this is the guy for us, and that was how I got it. Now, for the second question, we are not going deep into QA, but it's very necessary for you to learn how to test API, how to test maybe a JavaScript code. Very important. So, but we are not going deep. We are just good. We are just on the basics. But if you want to probably branch, and you can branch and come back. Okay, but we are not going deep. So thank you. So I hope I answered your question, Okoye. So who else?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So who else do we have here? Okay, John. So if you have a question, just raise your hand.
Yes,
I'll pick you. Yeah, John.
yes. I want to ask. Are you going to share the presentation?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I will do that.
Yeah. I think it will be a very good guide once you can share with us also.
Yeah, sure. I will definitely do that. Right.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. So who else? I think I touched a lot of topics, so we should have a lot of questions. Okay, Mubarak.
Okay, good day, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Well, I'm just if there is a WhatsApp group that someone can join, because accessing the Slack channel, sometimes someone is not with his PC, so and I cannot access it through my phone.
Okay. Okay, anyways, maybe we can have a call within the week for those that are having difficulties with Slack to help them, have a smooth guide. So we are not using WhatsApp, we are using strictly Slack. So, but we can have a call for those that are having difficulties to understand how Slack works and maybe how to navigate it on your mobile phone or install it. So I think that would help. So, all right, guys. Do you have any other question? Are we okay? Okay, so I think we don't have any other questions so far. All right, so before I round up, we'll be having our next call. So our next call, I think, is open source. So reason I picked that is we need to have an open source mindset, because at the end of the day, most of us will be working with open source companies. So even jobs that I've gotten, some contracts, some freelance roles that I've gotten, reason why I got them is because of my open source experience. So I think it will be very valuable for us to understand the ecosystem and understand how to be involved in open source. For instance, we have the upcoming program that will be coming up in some months' time. That is Google Season of Docs. And good 18, I was part of the 2020 set, so I think I have some wisdom to share from that program. So that was a very nice program as at then. So although I'm kind of angry because when I joined it, we didn't aim high. That was like $3,000, but right now I'm seeing $15,000 for 6 months. Trust me, that is cool, and they're not even taking much of your time. You might just be, working a few hours a week, and you get paid $15,000 for 6 months. You have some for 3 months. You have some others that pay $5,000. And the most important thing is the relationship you're keeping with this organization is very important, because at the end of the day, you get to see people joining full time. Wow, we love what you did. We love your effort and all this thing. Can you join us full time, and you negotiate on your salary? That is very, very awesome. So I think, open source is very important. Sorry, I know open source is very important, and we should key into that. So that is why I added that in our curriculum. So that will take up our next call. So you get to learn about open source. So I tried my best to cover up major parts in intro to technical writing. And then going forward, all the parts that I laid out here, we have speakers that will cover up those parts extensively. So you get to understand it and you have a more practical section. So, but this program is very practical. So we're going to have our first assignment this month, and you get to work with your teammates. You learn to work with your teammates. You learn to work with your mentors to succeed. So at the end of the day, it's yourself and not me. You'll be the one to succeed. You'll be the one to take all the glory, and I'll be the one to be very happy that I was involved in making that happen for you. And to restate again, this program is free forever. So nobody's taking any money from you. Nobody will request any dime from you. I'm not requesting anything from you. What I request from you is just your time, your seriousness to succeed, and not just that, just your time and your seriousness. That's all. I'll be very glad when I get messages that, hey, I got this job, hey, I passed this test, hey, I got this. Like the first cohort one, they got recognitions from some companies like Upright. You may know Upright, and I've forgotten the other company. And even one of the mentors went as far as writing a guide for, is it Quibot? Yeah, that should be Quibot or thereabout. So a hiring manager sent him a message, hey man, we saw what you did and that was very nice, very detailed, and we love it. So I didn't know how it played out, but he got that and he sent me the message and I was glad about that. So, I really want every one of us to take this very serious. You can turn out to be a full-time technical writer like myself, or you can be a freelance. So for me, I do full-time and I also do freelance if I see the opportunity, because I take my weekends to do that and not my weekdays. So that is more money to my pockets, and that is what I want everyone here to achieve. All right, thank you guys. So do we have any question before we close?